the context. So the Delhi High Court issued notice to center on a complaint received by the police officer that she complained of sexual harassment against one Director General, the head of the office, I suppose. Director General is the most highest head possible in that organization. So now the Bureau of Police Research Development, the Bureau of Police Research and Development Director General, the complaint was made against him by the IPS officer regarding that this officer, Director General, has sexually harassed the IPS officer. So Delhi High Court has issued a notice that and also she made a claim that the internal complaint committee has not been properly constituted. So to give justice to her complaint, to take note of her redressal of the grievance and redressal of the grievance, and also her complaints to be attended to, and also the action to be taken against the officer who has harassed her sexually. So this was the complaint made by her, and Delhi High Court also issued notice why that internal complaint committee is not in place and why the effort has not been made by the department. And so the second one is that if you look at the newspaper item, issues notice to center on harassment to complaint by the officer. So you see, when you see that IPS officer has complained against the Director General, so that even the highest office holding authorities also are not exempted or immune to this kind of complaints. It can complaints can come against anybody. That is the. So we should make this workplace a much safer environment, particularly for the women, because there should not be any gender discrimination, gender exploitation, and in particular the sexual exploitation or sexual harassment in the workplace. So this is a very serious allegation, in fact. So we need to know something about this. Let's go into the details. What is sexual harassment at workplace? It is at the workplace any unwelcome, sexually defined behavior. It's a sexually defined behavior, unwelcome, sexually rude, obscene, vulgar, objectionable behavior. The purpose of effect, unreasonably interfering with the individual's work, meaning here women. Women as an employee, if it is interfering with her work, and also performance, are creating an intimidating environment. You do a sexual favor or else you will be punished. If this kind of intimidating environment or abusive environment is there between the boss and the employee, that is also considered as the sexual harassment. Hostile, that is superiors are hostile to the lady employee. So definitely it speaks something of the sexual harassment or undertones of the sexual harassment. Then abusive and or offensive working environment. So a lady employee worker finds it so difficult. She has to take care of her home, and then she comes to office. And if she's not given any protection against any sexual harassment, and if the office becomes a place for hostile, unfriendly, and abusive and offensive working environment, that is the most serious allegation. And every employer should take care that the work is made very safer, workplace is made safer, and well-guided ethics do take place there, and so that women do not have any problem and they feel much safe and secure to work in that place. So the definition of the sexual work harassment at workplace is this. In workplace, there is interfering with performance, and if it is also unreasonable, defined, which is the unwelcome sexually defined behavior and intimidating hostile behavior, now that is in the working place, that is called sexual harassment at workplace. Let's see what is sexual harassment itself. What is the definition? The section 354A of the Indian Penal Code gives the definition of the sexual harassment at workplace. Let's see that. What is the definition? 354A says that it is unwelcome physical and contact and advances, overtures or advances, and unwanted and explicit sexual overtures, a demand request for sexual favors Okay, sexual favor. Okay, and showing someone's sexual images, that is pornography, without her consent, and making unwelcome remarks. Okay, so unwelcome physical contact, touch. Supposing an employer calling a lady and putting a hand around her shoulder, that is an offensive thing. Definitely, it is unwelcome in the working place. Even if he's touching, putting a hand around shoulder or touching the lady in any context. So physical contact, unwanted physical contact, or remarks, or showing pictures or images, or pornography, or asking for favor, I will promote you if you oblige me. This kind of statement coming from the officer to the employee definitely underlies the exploitation element and sexual harassment at workplaces. So the women need to be protected against all this. So the woman who is working in the office environment can face this kind of scenario. The boss or the colleagues or the reporting officers, there may be hierarchy. The boss, number one may be there, number two, number three, and there will be different lines of hierarchy. And if the woman is finding environment to be hostile, threatening, and also has got any of these elements, asking for sexual favor or images, making sexual remarks, or touching the lady unwantedly, even against her consent, then that is definitely amounting to sexual harassment at working place. So section 354 clearly defines this. So Vishaka guideline says, as a part of the Vishaka judgment, Supreme Court laid down specific guidelines on the prevention of sexual harassment of the workplace. So Supreme Court has given the guidelines, and it has clearly laid down specific guidelines on the prevention of sexual harassment. So there was a case in 1997, and in that case, in the Vishaka case, Supreme Court gave guidelines as to how to make the workplace a safer working environment, in particular for the women, so that they are free from any kind of sexual harassment, protected against the sexual harassment in that workplace. So what are those guidelines? The important points of the guidelines were there should be an internal complaint committee. Internal complaint committee, what we call as ICC. Okay, and this Vishaka guideline defines sexual harassment, and it codifies preventive measure like the formation of this committee. What is this committee? It should have the committee consists of the any of the workers, about 10 members of the 10 members of the working organization to be the members, in particular women members, officers working in that working office. So at least 10 members should be there in the ICC committee. Okay, and then all employers, both public and private sector, should take appropriate steps to prevent sexual harassment. So all employers who are running the private, either private or government offices, should be free from any such possibility of sexual harassment to the women. So they must take all safeguard measures, preventive measures, and make the workplace, either in government or private sector, a safer place to work for the women. And there should be also time-bound effective redressal of complaints. So this was not there. As per the actual complaint was this one. There was no robust mechanism according to the IPS officer who complained against the DG, and Delhi High Court issued the notice to the central government that why the committees are not in place, why you have not taken any preventive steps, why there is not an effective redressal mechanism. Whenever a lady complains, she finds it very difficult to complain. She doesn't know whom to complain, and then it is not well received sometimes. And even if it is received, this is not acted upon, and internal committees are not in place. Internal complaint committees are not in place in many of the offices. So redressal mechanism will not take place without that. And this committee consists of all the 10, about at least not less than 10 employees, lady employees and gen officers, and the employees representatives or union members of the working union. They all should be also, some of these should be members. A composition should be a healthy, heterogeneous composition so that interest of the workers, employees, and the employer, everybody is taken care of, and there are no malicious or fictitious and unwanted frivolous complaints. And also there should be this internal control committee, it should complaint committee, ICC, to take note of complaint, immediately do the inquiry. What is the function of ICC? It should do the inquiry. Okay, and codified preventive measures, all these are to be there. All employers, they should have, and it should have a time-bound redressal mechanism. Supposing lady is such a sensitive issue, no lady complains without any reason. If she's complaining of sexual harassment in a workplace, it's a serious allegation. Therefore, immediately should be acted upon. Redressal mechanism should take place. There should be time-bound action taken against that against the person or the allegation that have come about. In order to prevent any pressure, you can have one NGO also in the committee. So not in the ICC, there can be NGOs also, so that there can be pressure from the higher ups. Supposing a lady makes a complaint, there is a pressure on her to withdraw the complaint, because supposing the DG in this case is an accused, allegation against him about the sexual harassment by that lady IPS officer, there may be pressure by that officer to this employee to withdraw the case, withdraw the complaint. Undue pressure will be exerted. Threat can be there, or she will be warned of dire consequences. So therefore, in order to prevent any such pressure, if the NGO is there, they can neutralize. He can tell the victim can also narrate to the NGO, and NGO can come as a protective mechanism, a neutral body, so that they can see and hear the complaints from both the sides. And any kind of pressure upon the victim can be nullified or neutralized. So this is the reason why we need to have an NGO should be, because there can be pressure from the higher ups to withdraw the case. Such cases when a lady files a sexual harassment complaint against an employee or a colleague or an employer, the boss or an officer, then there is also a pressure to withdraw, because it will, they say, oh, the office will get bad name, workplace will get bad name, and unnecessary stigma can arise, and so on. And the lady also can be threatened of the retaliation or also victimization measures. That is the reason why we should have NGO to balance, and also take off that kind of thing. And also more important, all women working in the men and women both should be told and about the clauses, sections of this sexual harassment working places guidelines, and the act also. The sexual harassment at workplaces act is brought in 2013, and section 354A talks about definition and also harassment at workplace, sexual harassment at workplace. This should be told to all. There is a need for a mechanism for internal complaint committee to inquire into the allegation if there is any complaint, and to have a time-bound redressal mechanism and a time-bound framework to solve this problem, because it's a very, very sensitive matter, and it really relates to a very sensitive issue related to the woman, because she has filed a complaint of the utmost sensitive nature, delicate nature, that somebody is sexually harassing her in the workplace. Then victims of sexual harassment should have the option to seek transfer or the perpetrator. So when there is a complaint, either the lady victim who is filing the complaint or against whom she has filed complaint, either of them should be transferred. There should be a provision, because if in the same place they continue, supposing the boss is continuing in the same place, he will try to influence. He will try to influence other colleagues and say, no, tell them it is wrong. He will threaten the other her colleagues that you will be treated with the dire consequences if you take side of that lady and who is making allegation and complainant, and so that can arise. Therefore, it is important that the person against whom the case is filed he should be transferred. Or at least lady should be given the option to go, because she should not be further victimized and threatened of any further dire consequences for filing a complaint of sexual harassment in the workplace against the boss or against the colleague. So she should be given the option to get transferred. So guidelines were superseded in the Workplace Act 2013. So what is this? The Act defines sexual harassment, and it also creates a mechanism for redressal of complaint and the safeguards. So this is a very important appointment, and awareness must be created to all the employees, so down to the fourth class category, that is attenders or office assistant, to top class management and boss hierarchy, up the hierarchy. Everyone should be sensitized about these provisions of the article, and to respect the women working in the working place, and also to treat them with dignity and utmost respect, and also create an environment where they feel safe and secure to work, and so that there is no scope for any kind of sexual harassment of this working women at the workplaces. So it also provides safeguards against false and malicious. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes if a woman is denied of, let us say she is not getting a promotion, she may make a false allegation against the boss that he is harassing her, and because he has not given the promotion, instead of saying he has not given the promotion, or that he has neglected, he has declined her promotion, she may attribute sexual harassment to him. And this can also be a malicious one, or it could be also kind of a false one with an ulterior motive. It can also happen, but a very rare case. I must tell you, this is a very rare case. No woman would like to go public and say somebody is sexually harassing her, because the matter is of such an utmost sensitive nature. Then false or malicious complaints are very, very rare. Every workplace is required to constitute, as I said about ICT, 10 or more employers, and also should have an NGO. And these internal complaint committee have the powers of civil code for gathering evidence. So what is the meaning of ICC? They should be able to do inquiry, conduct inquiry, gather the evidence, whether the lady, whether the complainant woman, employee who gave a complaint against a fellow employee or employer, the boss, or second boss, or third boss in the hierarchy, or any of the senior officers, then he should, there should be evidence collected how he said. For example, sending messages, lewd remarks, or showing pictures, right? Making remarks, or demanding sexual favor, or making a conditional promotion, and that kind of things. Any of those which are mentioned in the sexual harassment definition, if those all elements can attract provision, and a lady complainant who is filing complaint against this has to give these evidences of any of this to support her case. And ICC will look into gathering this evidence. These days it is easy, because they are calling the victim, calling the lady and trying to harass her, calling at odd times, or making lewd remarks, or making sarcastic remarks, or with bad intention. So it is quite possible, because of cell phones, these days it's quite possible to have a written evidence also, as you can see, it can be tracked. So it is deleted in the investigation. The encrypted messages can be tracked down, and we can investigate. So ICC can come across such any attempt by the officer or colleague harassing a lady colleague. So now what is the so the sexual harassment at working place, sexual harassment of women at working place also not only defines, but also talks about committee, but it also says non-compliance of the provisions shall be punishable with a fine. So employers should have ICC in place. Otherwise, they should also be punished for not meeting them with such a requirement in a workplace, either government or public. So every office, either private or public, should have internal complaint committee, a redressal mechanism in place, so that any kind of complaint is received. And in case of repetition of violation, higher penalty should be given to such employers who are neglecting the fundamental duty of making the workplace safe and secure environment for working women. Penalties, as you can see, range from 1 to 3 years imprisonment and also fine. So you see, the matter is very serious. Any person who is proved by the internal complaint committee and inquiry revealed that yes, he is responsible for this sexual harassment at workplace, then he is liable for punishment up to 3 years and also fine. That is the gravity of the situation. Okay, that is the importance of the penalties and rules. So all in all, we must make because more and more women are taking jobs. However, most of them are also having poor representation in many offices. I mean, there are less number of lady employees and more number of male employees. So there is a hostile and offensive environment sometimes, and workplace may not be so conducive for a woman to work. And even sometimes I have seen in some places, they don't even have toilets. They don't have even basic facility, a lunch room also for women. So such things may lead to many other complications later of this nature also. Therefore, there is a reason, it's important that basic amenities to be created, lunch room, rest room, and also a safe place for women to, a working environment for women to be created, and all employees should be sensitized. So that is the importance of sexual harassment of working place, of working women at workplaces. And as you can see, sexual harassment complaints can arise at any office, at any level. An IPS officer, a lady IPS officer complained against the Director General, head of the office himself. So this can say nobody is free from this. Anywhere it can happen. So we should have a mechanism in place, redressal mechanism, and also internal complaint committee, and make the workplace more and more, so that more and more women are encouraged to work in the offices, both private and government. Okay.